This was interesting. Oh, interesting. It's perfect for you. Ah, she's like singing out of my soul. Sometimes we get lost in our own little world, but it's all so much bigger than we realize. Hey everyone, it's your girl Rosalie. Welcome to the World Music and Psychology channel. It's time for more Aurora, but before we get started, a big shout out today to KD Lengthy. Thank you for your support on Buy Me a Coffee. I appreciate the kindness, the support. It helps me to keep going, to put my work and my time into these videos for you guys. If you want to support Buy Me Some Coffee, which is a way of making a donation to support this channel, go check out buymeacoffee.com/Rosalie Elliott, or consider becoming a patron or a member here on YouTube. Lots of ways to connect and to get directly in touch with me personally through Discord. All the links in the description below. I am excited because I want to check out something new by Aurora called Some Type of Skin. Here we go. Enjoy and subscribe. It's kind of funny looking. Her hand holding other hands. Mannequin hands. What in the bunch of mannequins?
Hit me hard where I am soft. Should my heart reveal itself to be more than a muscle or a fist covered in blood? However much it feels to bleed, it's only temporary. We're good people and we both deserve peace. My God is in love and some type of skin. I got to be some type of skin. God is in love and some type of skin. I got to be some type of skin. I guess I should build some type of skin and let breathe the air and love the things I know might disappear. And the last light of the sun, I let it slow me down. I'll crawl where everybody runs.
Oh, interesting.
We're good people and we deserve peace. It's difficult, it seems. My God is alive. Some type of skin. I got to be some type of skin. God is alive. Some type of skin. My God, God is alive. Some type of skin. I got to be some my God is
This was interesting. Oh, interesting. The chant, the da 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 da. I can't barely hit those high notes. Is super catchy. It always, not always, but many of her songs, she gives that Aurora flair, that siren-like hook of sorts that really is catchy. The lyric video, I'm gonna be transparent with you because I promised real talk, real reactions, made me a little uncomfortable, but only because she was so sensual, dare I say sexual, with these mannequins. And there was something odd to me about it in the sense that it's just, you don't see that every day, right? And it's this weird relationship between something that's dead or an object and a real person. But the contrast between these black mannequins, that plastic, and several of them, right? This sea of mannequins compared to her intentionally wearing something very light skin beige, which almost looked skin like. The skin colored dress attire she was wearing emphasized her skin tone, or her skin even more, I feel, which was a fitting contrast. Hit me hard where I'm soft. Also interesting, that contrast here, hard and soft. Should my heart reveal itself to be more than a muscle or a fist covered in blood? Ooh, very poetic. A fist, and then speaking of hitting, which is an interesting play here on words, hard where I'm soft. If my heart reveals itself to be more than a muscle. Okay, so if I'm not this dead object, this dead puppet without a heart, or perhaps if I'm just a person where my heart is just a muscle, there's no emotion, there's no feelings. Hit me hard where I'm soft. Very interesting. However much it feels to bleed, it's only temporary. Oh my gosh, there's so many ways to take this. Is this way of reminding people it hurts right now, but it's going to pass? Is this way of trying to come to terms with our humanity and our bleeding, our pain, and the fact that, or these questions of, is my heart just a muscle, right? Is it just pumping and just a somatic element that just keeps me alive? Or is there more when it comes to my feelings, my consciousness, my existence, who I am, right? Those are questions we ask ourselves in our search for identity, right? Why do we do what we do? Who are we? Why are we the way we are? Is it all just random neurons firing? Is it all just random? Or are there elements of us that make us unique, that make us more than these puppets, or that make us more than just a muscle or a mannequin? We're good people and we both deserve peace. This too is interesting. Is this an anthem for people of certain communities who may feel other than, or who may be judged or criticized, and her way of saying, hey, we deserve to be at peace, we deserve to be left alone, we're good people, you and I, right? This contrast between the black mannequin and her fair skin, perhaps addressing racial issues, right? We're both good people. Is this addressing people of certain minorities, or they say marginalized groups, reminding us all that we all deserve peace, we all deserve to be accepted? The way she was interacting with the mannequin, again, was very artsy but also sensual. And then even the way that the parts of that mannequin were laying around and she held those hands up against her face, interacting with this object in a very interesting way. Is this trying to come to terms with loving oneself and our own skin, some type of skin? This idea of, I'm trying to touch my face, I'm trying to understand my sense of self and my place in this world, in contrast with what is the opposite, right? A plastic mannequin compared to our skin of flesh. My God, it's a lot. I built some type of skin. You know how they say sometimes you got to have thick skin when you have opposition or there's criticism? Is this way of saying, my God, it's a lot. I'm going through a lot. I really am struggling with trying to be loved and have peace and be accepted. And I have to build up this skin to not be harmed or hurt by what others say, or trying to become someone alive. I guess I should build some type of skin and let breath be air. Ooh. Instead of air being what we breathe, our breath just being air. It's back to going from something profound like breathing to being air. Something that exists with or without us breathing, right? It continues to exist even when we die, but we need it to breathe. But it's what we make in order to survive. Maybe I'm going a little off and getting a little too poetic. How can I put this in words? The air is something we breathe, and that's usually how we would word that. But saying, let breath be air, is almost reversing that process. And that to me is also a fitting contrast to that inanimate object, this mannequin that has no breath, that has no heart, that has no skin, and yet she's covering herself with this mannequin, engaging with this mannequin in a very loving way. Let the last light of the sun, with the cinematography here, the videography was neat too. And love the things I know might disappear in the last light of the sun. I let it slow me down. I'll crawl where everybody runs. I'll slow down where everybody runs. My God, it's a lot. And then that tag is, it's a lot. It's a lot to me. Let me look up maybe what she meant by this, because there's different ways to interpret this. I personally am taking it as this desire to be accepted, to be loved and at peace with who you are when you're struggling with certain things, or you feel different, or you're trying to find your place in your identity. Here it says, Genius.com says, Aurora considers what it means to be human on her new song, Some Type of Skin. It's a lot, says the Norwegian singer, about being a person in this world. Yeah, that's Basically it. It's so true. It's thematically similar to Aurora single your blood. Okay. I've always been told that I should build some type of skin, Aurora said in a statement. I've always let myself merge too much with the world, not really knowing where the world ends and I begin. See, and this is why this is interesting. That is so true for our search for identity. Who am I? Who are you? What I am, you are not. Now, we may be similar in certain ways. We may find similarities and contrasts and compare one another. But where I am, you are not, right? And you are where I am not. And there's a clear line that separates you and I. Or so we would think, right? That's how we identify ourselves. I'm over here. This is my body. Your body is not my body. And clearly, my body ended where yours began. And maybe even with some space in between, depending on how close we are to each other. There's this sense of self and this desire to merge. And that's very, very much so when we talk about existentialism and existential psychology, existential therapy. That's a big topic, trying to understand what is, contrasting it with what is not. And in the West, we often find language being either or. And we have to communicate, when we even try to communicate a both and mindset, right? Inclusivity, understanding that two things can coexist at the same time, that life is sometimes not either or, black and white, but both and. Even in the West, we often even communicate that concept, the both and concept of life, by using words like either or, because we're so used to the categorization and the individualism when it comes to our existence and our identity. And in Eastern culture and other cultures, that's often different, even in their language, the way that things are communicated, right? Languages are not all the same, even if you literally translate something. We use different words to convey meaning, and a lot is lost from my mind to yours, and by the time it's been translated and communicated. But that's a concept is very... Yeah, it's one that many have dealt with in psychology and philosophy, trying to understand our existence. So for her to find such a poetic way to discuss, hit me where things are soft, comparing our muscle that keeps us alive to what makes us human, right? Our heart is what pumps, what keeps us alive, and it is a muscle, physically speaking and scientifically. And yet we also refer to our heart as like the seat of our soul. At times we refer to our feelings. We're complex consciousness, and we are more than just a plastic mannequin. And yet her taking it apart and touching herself, trying to understand herself and her existence, I think is perhaps what is being done here. It's a lot is obviously a humongous understatement, especially when we consider the state of the world. But Aurora isn't here to dwell on the negativity and confusion. The song opens with warm washes of synth over which she floats the following hopeful lines. Should my heart reveal itself to be more than a muscle or a fist covered in blood, right? Maybe addressing that violence we have towards one another. However much it feels to bleed, it's only temporary. We're good people and we both deserve peace. And that also is a hopeful knot. I agree with that. To say however much it feels to bleed, because we do feel things. We're not just muscle and skin and bones. It's only temporary. That's comforting because people are reminded, hey, this too shall pass. But it's also reminding us we're good people, right? We're going to be okay. We deserve peace, both of us. Very poetic, very, very poetic. What did you think? Comment below. I'll see you on the next ride. Ayo!